Hello, my name is Charles Webster. I am wearing a Quest 3 headset and am appearing to you as my social VR avatar in a black Dune still suit and a Tim McGraw cowboy hat. I'll be giving my presentation, Building Three Communities in, with, and about virtual reality, lessons learned, as part of Sandia's 6th annual XR conference from a social VR platform. Social virtual reality uses VR to allow users to interact and communicate with each other in a shared 3D virtual space. Sometimes social VR is part of a multiplayer game. For example, I play pickleball and golf with friends I know in real life, as well as friends I've only ever met online. Other social virtual reality experiences are more about conversation among people with similar interests, often in 3D worlds created by users and uploaded to social VR. I've personally used or investigated more than a half a dozen social VR platforms, including VRChat, Rec Room, Mozilla Hubs, Horizon Worlds, Big Screen, Engage, Spatial, VTime, AARP's Alcove, and Banter. What they all have in common is the strong personal feeling or illusion that you and other users are physically present together, which allows nonverbal interpersonal cues not well conveyed by video conferencing platforms. Using a baseball metaphor, I hit a home run, I struck out, and I made it on base. First, the home run. Back in 2018, I started hosting weekly meetings on the AltSpace VR social VR platform. Microsoft had just acquired AltSpace and promised to continue to develop it. I started a community called Health Systems Chat, which eventually became SciTech Chat. We got to 849 members. Each time I scheduled an event, folks got an email. An hour before each event, everybody who RSVP'd for that specific event got an email reminder. About 20 to 30 folks showed up every week. For each event, I chose a theme, such as wastewater management or ocean sustainability, or the science and engineering of golf. And for each event, I created a custom world, such as a water treatment plant, an ocean-going research vessel, or a golf course, and so on. I hosted 178 such events between 2018 and 2023. Almost 10,000 attendees showed up to our events. In 2023, in a strategic shift away from the metaverse and toward artificial intelligence, Microsoft discontinued the AltSpace VR platform. Second, the strikeout. So I started over. None of the other popular social VR platforms had the same convenient event management infrastructure as AltSpace VR. So I decided to use Meetup, a social media platform for hosting in-person and virtual activities, though mostly video-based, for communities with similar interests. I let the membership of my group on AltSpace VR, just before it was discontinued, know about this community. We quickly got to about 50 members. I started hosting monthly events, starting on VRChat, but planning to branch out to other social VR platforms. 2 attendees, 4 attendees, 8 attendees, promising, but then 4, 2, and finally 0. In retrospect, in discussion with several members, I realized just how important it is to have some sort of event management capability native to the social VR platform. Otherwise, there is simply too much friction, too much effort to remember what one needs to do in order to join an event at the right time while wearing a VR headset. Finally, the on-base. Coincidentally, around this time, I retired to a Dell Web active retirement community called Muirhaven on Albuquerque's west side. It has almost 60 interest groups, from poker to wine to skiing, and so on. So I started the Muirhaven Virtual Reality Club. Here is its description. Curious about virtual reality and augmented reality? Travel anywhere: Paris, Mars, Middle Earth. Golf famous golf courses. Play pickleball. Learn to fly. Stay home, but invite friends from far away. Fight aliens breaking into your walls, or add art to your walls that you created. VR and AR are both examples of extended reality. Join our meetings. We currently have an email list of about 39 members. However, only about a half dozen have purchased VR headsets. In-person attendance averages about 3 to 6. However, I occasionally remotely play VR-based golf or pickleball with other members. So, what are lessons learned? Note, at the end of the title for this talk, I appended the question, lessons learned, question mark. These three communities are admittedly a small sample. That's why I tacked a question mark on to the end of the title. However, having spent several thousand hours in social virtual reality in both my own events, but also comparing notes with other organizers of other communities, I have some impressions I'd like to share. First of all, it is early days for social virtual reality. Unlike smartphones, not a lot of people have VR headsets, and they're bulky and inconvenient. So it takes a uniquely compelling experience to get folks to climb initial learning curves, and then to keep coming back, doing the work of carving out of their schedule, being reminded, and of clicking on the right thing at the right time and making sure their headset has sufficient charge, and so on. Furthermore, and perhaps even more important, unlike other forms of social media, which can be consumed during interstitial moments between real-life activities, social virtual reality essentially competes with our real-world activities. When our real worlds are deficient in some way, such as during COVID, social virtual reality is a highly attractive means to escape to cool venues full of interesting people. But when real life is good, and one can escape to cool real-world venues full of interesting people, such as in my lovely retirement community, social virtual reality faces competition. I continue to invest my time and energy in social VR-related activities because someday, I hope still many decades in the future, my life might not be as good and I might not be as able to get out and about in the real world. Then social VR and its fantastic opportunities and its ability to connect with other people who perhaps will also not be as energetic and as mobile as we used to be, we can still connect. In the meantime, I will keep investigating different combinations of XR and real-life events and communities, such as the upcoming demo day at Explora in Old Town. Thank you for your time and patience with this non-traditional presentation from within social virtual reality.